Thank you, Corey.
All right, let's bring in our panel tonight. Republican strategist Jason Meath joining us, along with Democratic strategist Joel Payne, who's on Skype. Gentlemen, good to see you both.
Good to be with you.
All right, we know that Dr. Blasey Ford's attorney sent a letter to the Senate Judiciary Committee saying her client is willing to testify if the terms are fair and what they say ensured her safety. However, it's unlikely it will happen Monday. Before we get started, we want to play a clip that's circulating right now on social media that shows more support for Dr. Ford.
Dear Professor Ford.
Dear Professor Ford.
Dear Professor Ford.
We know how difficult it is to stand up to powerful people. He should not be confirmed.
He should not be confirmed.
He should not be confirmed. And millions of us have your back.
You and your testimony are credible.
We believe you.
We believe you.
Signed, your sisters.
All right, so first we saw from, her alumna from her school. Now we're seeing from a group of celebrities, and we've heard from people all around the country. How difficult is this going to make it for Brett Kavanaugh to actually be confirmed? Jason, I want to start with you.
Oh, celebrities doing videos is nothing new. They do them for just about everything, the outrage culture issue that they can find. This is the fishiest story I've heard since the Little Mermaid. And I'm not making light of the accusations, because I believe that someone is sexually assaulted, we should be looking at that, we should be investigating that, and their voices should be heard. However, just on the same page, the people that are being accused also get a right to be heard, and often, and more often than you would actually anybody would care to know, that sometimes people are falsely accused and sometimes people get stories mixed up. And I'm glad that she's going to be able to work out her testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee, because then we can actually start figuring out her side of the story and Brett Kavanaugh's side of the story, and hopefully getting some type of facts or evidence assigned to these allegations. The fishy part that I bring up is really because of the Democrats' rollout of this. It was an egregious mishandling of this letter, and they've had the letter since July. But what did they do? They sat on it. They had 1,300 questions they submitted to the judge, and no question dealt with this. They had 4 days of testimony to be able to sit there and ask questions of Judge Kavanaugh of this letter, and nobody ever said anything during that. During private meetings inside closed doors to discuss sensitive matters, nobody brought it up. 65 senators met with him. Nobody said a word. And all of a sudden, when it looked like he was headed towards confirmation, Senator Feinstein must have had one of those little boxes in her office that said, "In case of emergency, break glass," and she did it. And inside was this envelope from this anonymous person who we now know is Professor Ford.
Jason, I'm going to bring Joel into the conversation here, because Jason touched upon it. But Joel, those are some of the allegations that came up involving how Senator Feinstein may have gone about doing this, bringing this to light. What's your response to what Jason just mentioned?
Yeah, listen, I think the fury that Jason presents and the fury of a lot of entrenched power. Gosh, you would have to think that Brett Kavanaugh has been a victim his entire life, and that people like Jason have been victims their entire life. Christine Blasey Ford is talking about her personal experience. She requested that Democrats keep her anonymity, including most notably Senator Feinstein. So I don't think that you can say that that's a Democratic strategy point.
They leaked it.
I think this is about a woman who was victimized, who wants to tell her story. And you can't say that it's fishy and then say, I want her to tell her story. It's one or the other, Jason. You got to pick your...
No, absolutely not. The Democrats leaked that, okay? So it was Dianne Feinstein and her inside people that leaked the letter and leaked her name. The Republicans didn't do it. The Republicans haven't even seen the letter. Dianne Feinstein won't release the unredacted letter to the full committee, and she better do it, because we're going to have to get to the bottom of this story.
There's a lot of victims of sexual assault. There's a lot of victims of powerful people who wish that the outrage that Jason is displaying right here will be used and leveraged to make sure that the little person and that the person who's being victimized is defended in this way. I hope that you apply that same energy and keep that same energy when you're defending people who are wrong.
You know what? In all due respect, they were students at the time.
Jason, let Joel finish. Jason, let Joel finish. Go ahead, Joel.
Neither of us know exactly what happened. But what we do know is that this woman has a story to tell. She deserves to tell it. Democrats are committed to ensuring a process where she can tell it and she cannot be taken advantage of the way Anita Hill was taken advantage of 28 years ago.
Hey, Jason, let me ask you, speaking of Anita Hill was given the opportunity to have an investigation, and I believe she was able to testify along with some other people over a course or a period of 3 days. The Senate Judiciary Committee initially said that Christine Blasey Ford needed to come in on Monday, and, you know, we don't know what will happen after that. Obviously, now we know it won't be Monday, and we haven't heard yet if there will be another date she can testify. But do you think there should be a hearing here, or excuse me, an investigation? We know Democrats have asked the FBI to come back in. The White House has said, no, we're not going to do that. What should happen?
Well, sure. The Senate committee has been investigating this for now over a week.
But not just the Senate committee. I'm talking about the FBI.
Well, the FBI doesn't get, no. I mean, unless the president wants them to get involved, but there's really nothing to, and what in the world is the FBI going to investigate on federal crimes? There are no federal crimes. They've already vetted what they've done, their standard vetting procedures for Judge Kavanaugh, and it wouldn't be their jurisdiction to even get involved in something like this. What are they going to investigate? It happened in 1982. It's going to be a he said, she said situation. The Senate committee has already interviewed several people that knew both Judge Kavanaugh and Professor Ford. So they're talking to people that, you know, may have been at some of these parties that are alleged to have happened, that may have remembered certain events or details, and they're getting to the bottom of those matters. So that investigation is actually happening, and we will hear from these people, and we will likely hear from a lot of these people, and we will have by Senate rules, it's going to be a week before they can notify everyone to have a hearing. Yeah. So once again, this kind of plays into this sort of delay tactic that the Democrats are employing. Unfortunately, this woman is, I think, being used as a pawn of the Democrat and the left to delay this thing to as close to the election as they possibly can get. This thing is all political.
Hold on, Jason. Jason, I want to interrupt you for a second and give Joel a chance to jump in.
You know what, Sean? I want more people to actually hear Jason, and I want people to hear people like Jason who are on the side of entrenched power. And I want people to keep that in mind the next 48 days so that when they go to vote, okay, they keep in mind what the stakes are. Because this is what this is about, because it ain't just about Brett Kavanaugh for a lot of folks. It's about Donald Trump, and you have an admitted person who's committed sexual assault who's in the White House. And that a Republican Party has decided to mainline this ridiculous type of behavior and to allow the leaders of their party and their Supreme Court nominees to be associated with this type of behavior. So I want more people, so you can let Jason keep talking, because I want more people to hear what Jason has to say so they can keep that in mind when they go to vote in 48 days.
Hey, Joel, that's fine, but you know what it's about? It's about the truth. Okay, it's about getting to the heart of the matter and to get out of the political situation and to get the truth. And I hope that we will be closer to getting the truth next week.
You're not interested in the truth. If you're interested in the truth, you'd want Mark Judge to testify.
No, I think that I'm happy she's going to come and testify. I think that's great. And all of the Republicans have said the same thing.
Well, let's just point out for people who don't know who Mark Judge is. Mark Judge is this person who Christine Ford mentioned in the letter. He is pointing out that he does not want to be part of the process, but could they subpoena him? Who knows? But regardless, this is going to be a process we're going to continue talking about. Gentlemen, it is good to see you both. Jason Meath, as always, and Joel, you were supposed to be in here with us tonight. We appreciate you Skyping in, and we'll have you both back very soon. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.